Welcome back, Driggers Hounds. This week we are going to be talking about another color family. Last week we talked about the warm and cool color family, and this week we are going to be talking about primary and secondary colors. This is our next color family that we will be discussing this week. Now I have my colors separated already. I can use this to point out. So I have my red line, it kind of looks like a fidget spinner, right? Around red, blue, and yellow. And then I have a green line around orange, green, and purple. Now we separate these colors into two different groups. So the first one that we have is primary, okay? So our primary colors are going to be red, yellow, and blue. Now, primary means first. So these are the first group of colors that are the most important in the art world, because without these three colors, we wouldn't have the rest of the rainbow. And I know that's crazy to think of. Some of you already know about color mixing, and that's great. So red, yellow, and blue are so important because when you mix these three colors with each other, you get your secondary group of colors here. Now, secondary, of course, means second. It comes after primary. And orange, green, and purple are our secondary colors. Now, our primary colors are important because, like I said before, you mix these colors together to get your secondary. Now, those of you that already know, red and blue make purple. This is really easy to look at on a color wheel. So for example, red, orange, red, yellow make orange. Yellow and blue make green. If you notice the pattern, so something that repeats itself on the color wheel, because I have this in rainbow order, okay? If you notice, the secondary color will be in between two primary colors. And that's a really easy way to figure out what is a primary color on the color wheel and what is a secondary color on the color wheel. So what I mean by that is, look, I've got blue and red, which are both primary colors. And in between that, I have purple. So if I were to mix blue and red together, I get purple. Now if I move down to blue and I skip one over to yellow, blue and yellow are primary colors. If I mix the two together, I get green. And then lastly, of course, yellow and red are my primary colors. If I mix red and yellow together, I'll get orange. And they're right in between my primary colors. So, what we are going to be working on today is we're going to be creating primary and secondary color ice cream pops. So for this, you're going to need some scissors, some glue. It can be a glue stick or bottle glue is fine. You're going to need a pencil just so that way we can sketch out our ideas before we start to cut them out. You're going to need markers, crayons, or color pencils. Just whatever you have at home is going to work just fine. You'll also need a few pieces of construction paper. Now, if you don't have construction paper, I can show you another way to do this. You can simply just draw it, or you can cut it out. It's up to you. I know most of us prefer to draw. So I'm going to go ahead and move this to the side. Taking my blank piece of paper. Okay. Now, I have lots of different color paper here. Now, if you don't have this laying around, you can simply just draw this. Or you can draw it on a white piece of paper or lined piece of paper, cut it out, and color it in. You can color it in using markers, or you can use crayons or color pencils. It's up to you and what you have at home. But either way, it's going to look really, really nice, I promise. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack up all of my papers. And I'm going to draw a popsicle shape on my paper. So I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna use a marker or a pen so that way you can see it better, because I don't think you'll be able to see my pencil mark on my paper. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to draw my popsicle shape, okay? So really all it is a nice round, just like that. And then I draw a line straight across at the bottom. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut out my popsicle shape. And while all these papers are still nice and stacked together, so that way I don't have to cut out 6 different popsicle shapes, all right? And you will have paper left over. So now I have my popsicles, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to arrange them by primary and secondary colors. So primary colors are red, blue, yellow. And our secondary colors are, of course, green, orange, and purple. So I'm going to start with my primary popsicle first. Okay. I'm going to stack up all of my papers one more time. Just like that. And taking my pencil or my marker, whatever I'm using, I'm going to draw 2 lines on my popsicle. So 1, 2. Now, what I can do next, take my scissors, and while they're still stacked together, I'm going to cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of each, and I want to make sure that they're all different. So for this one, I'm going to take some red. This middle section, I'm going to take some blue. And my bottom section, I'm going to take some yellow. So I have my first popsicle here. Now you can fit as many popsicles as you can onto your paper. I think I'm going to fit maybe about 4 popsicles, maybe 3, depending on the kind of paper you have and how big that you cut your popsicles. So I'm going to move it there to the side. And then I'm going to repeat that same step with my secondary colors. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. So now I've got my primary and my secondary colors. Now what I can do is, depending on the size of my popsicles, I can put maybe 3 or 4 popsicles on here. It's up to you and how big your paper is. But I'm gonna go ahead and try to put 4 on my paper. So let's see how that works. Now, once I get my 4 popsicles arranged, so I want to arrange them before I glue. And that's important because if you make a mistake and it's already glued down, well then guess what? You're gonna have to start all over again and your paper's gonna be all sticky. So it's really important to lay it out or map it out first, and then after you're sure where your pieces are gonna go, you can glue it on. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. So once you've got all of your popsicles glued down, now it's time to add some details. So I'm going to use some crayons. And we're going to want to add a popsicle stick, right? So I'm going to draw a popsicle stick below each of my little popsicles. Alright, so what I can do after this is I can take a black crayon or any color really that you want, and you can start outlining and adding designs to your popsicles. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and you can do this however you like. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to add some stuff to my background. Now this is optional, you can stop here, and you've got your primary and secondary popsicles. And I just added some texture in there with some hatching lines, cross-hatching lines. So that's completely up to you if you want to add that detail. I'm going to add some stuff to the background. So here I go. And there you have it, guys, some really easy primary and secondary colored popsicle sticks. Now, of course, you can go a lot further than I did with your decorations. You can draw things here in the middle, you can draw a little happy face. It's all up to you on what you want to do, but I decided just to stop here. I colored in my whole background so my whole picture is nice and colorful and pretty. So the rest is up to you. I can't wait to see what you guys create. I'm glad that we got to learn today about primary and secondary colors. Sorry guys if you heard her meowing throughout the whole video. She's been really needy. Those of you that know, I have two kitties. This is Jinx. That's who you've been hearing the whole video. So sorry. Hope you had a good laugh from hearing her meow. If you did, she was knocking over everything right now. But I hope you have a great day. Bye.